Over 4 million people visit the city of Amsterdam each year. As I'm making my way through the city center on an early Friday morning, the air filled with the smell of weed, the ground covered in pigeon shit, gum and litter, people talking, yelling, running and hurrying around me, I cannot help but think, what a shithole. The city of Amsterdam might be heaven for millions of people, but for me it is a special kind of hell, and I cannot wait to leave it behind. But today, I am on a mission. Hey you, welcome to my channel, A Year in the Day. My name is Jenny and I think it's safe to say I am not a city girl. And that's okay. When I was younger, I used to feel like a weirdo for not liking big crowds and big cities. Now I know it's just not for me. I'm a highly sensitive, nature-loving introvert, and that will never change. And accepting and embracing that is one of the most beautiful gifts time has given me. That being said, I was incredibly thankful and happy to meet Jarina of Jarina Tattooing in Amsterdam at the beginning of May. Jarina already tattooed my upper right arm in 2018 and 2019. And I guess we had some catching up to do. She is so incredibly talented and I will link her Instagram below if you would like to check out her work. At home, the garden was coming more and more alive. Little creatures are everywhere. And flowers are sharing their beautiful colors. I have been trying to build a natural garden since last year, and it has been an interesting process. At the moment, some corners of our garden are thriving, while other parts have not really made it through winter. So I spent some time in May patching things up. Alright, let's move to my table and check out some of my favorite things for my month of May. Let's start with travel plans. I'm filming this actually a little earlier in the month than I normally would, because in the last week of May we will be leaving for Norway. We have been planning to visit Norway for 5 years now. But for 5 years, for various reasons, our travel plans have been postponed. So this trip feels like more than just a holiday. There now has been a 5-year build-up of anticipation. And the weeks leading up to our moment of leaving have been actually a little nerve-wracking. I've always been fascinated by Norwegian mythology and Norwegian history, and we are very excited to finally be getting a glimpse of Norway's nature, culture and way of life. I will definitely report back on our trip next month, so stay tuned if you're interested. Let's move on to books. Apart from reading Norwegian travel guides, I got 2 new books this month. The first one, by Simon P. James, is an accessible introduction into environmental philosophy, which relates to questions regarding humanity's influence on our planet. This is one of the rare topics that I have a very, very passionate opinion on, and also struggle with a lot. But I usually find that discussing stuff like this with most people is not really appreciated, because it's about asking some really tough questions. So it is kind of refreshing to know that there is this whole subgenre of philosophy dedicated to it. And it's been really interesting diving a little bit deeper into this topic. The other one is not completely unrelated, but is a bit more of a lighter read. John Muir's Book of Animals collects animal-related stories and descriptions by John Muir, who was a Scottish-American naturalist, author and environmental philosopher. He moved from Scotland to the United States in 1849, when he was 11 years old. And he would go on to explore the wilderness of North America and write about his observations. And the writing style of Muir, combined with the lovely illustrations of Liesl Jane Ashlock, makes this a lovely little book. Anyways, I got quite a few new tarot decks this month and I still have suitcases to pack, so let's move on straight to tarot. Firstly, the Woodland Warden's Oracle by Jessica Rue. I pre-ordered this one last year without hesitation. It has been shown everywhere on TarotTube over the last month or so, but I only got it about a week ago. The cardstock is super flimsy and papery, but the artwork is even more lovely in real life than I had expected. I also really love the guidebook with its journaling prompts. And I already found a pairing I absolutely loved right away. And it was with another deck that arrived this month. This is the Ellen Iona Tarot, and this purchase was completely influenced by Krista from Adventures in Metaphysics, who showed this one in our April favorites video, which I'll link below. I had never seen or heard of this deck before, but after only a few cards I knew I couldn't resist the art style and colors of this deck, and I ordered it immediately from Etsy. And I absolutely loved combining this one with the Woodland Wardens. Not just because the colors of these two go so well together, but also because for some reason this felt like a perfect conversation between nature and humanity. Probably influenced by the books I got in this month. The Woodland Wardens perfectly represents nature and the animal world, while the Ellen Iona Tarot represents humankind, but in a very gentle way. Anyways, this probably makes zero sense to anybody else, but for me creating these kind of themes and stories is half the fun of working with tarot and oracle decks. So even if it makes no sense to anyone, at least I had fun pairing these and creating an extra layer of meaning for myself. Another deck that was influenced by a YouTuber was the Old Ways Magic Oracle by Naomi Cornock. It had been on my wishlist for a while, and when Sandy of Exploring Tarot showed this one on her channel, I immediately ordered it. Apparently, watching TarotTube late at night is really bad for my low buyer. Anyways, for now I am glad to have this in my collection, although I'm not sure if this one will stay long term. There are cards in this deck that I absolutely love, but there are also a few that don't really do anything for me, which is totally a personal preference thing. But usually when I don't love or at least like all cards in a deck, it prevents me from reaching for it. But we'll see how it goes. And last but not least, the Arcus Arcanum Tarot by Hans-Rudi Wasche and Gunther Hage. This is a 1986 out-of-print deck that had been on my wishlist for ages, until I got it for my birthday at the end of April. I absolutely love the comic book art style, and I'll link the first impressions video I made down below if you would like to see all the cards and pairings. Since I used the Arcus Arcanum for my monthly tarot pool in May, let's move on to journaling. For this month, I decided to combine the Arcus Arcanum with an archetype deck and a rune. The Citadel deck is an archetype deck with medieval, role-playing game vibes, and it was part of the limited edition box set of the Seed and Sickle Oracle, published by Liminal 11. It's illustrated by Faz Inkwright, and I really love the art style and color scheme. My runes I got from Etsy, from a seller called Nordic Forces, and I absolutely adore these. The runes are made from metal and are very sturdy and beautifully decorated. They come in a handmade leather pouch, and both the pouch and the runes are of amazing quality. The sellers are from Ukraine, so if you would like to support them, check out the link to their Etsy shop below. For the month of May from the Arcus Arcanum, I pulled the Page of Discs. I love how this page seems to struggle under the weight of his wealth. Money and belongings can bring us security, but it can also make us into a prisoner. From the Citadel deck, I pulled the Pilgrim, which made me smile, because that is a bit how I feel about our trip to Norway. I have been longing for a place where nature still has room to roam for such a long time now. And I cannot wait to experience Norway for the first time. Part of me is worried I will never want to come back at all, but we'll see. I also later realized this card matches the flowers and leaves that are now keeping me company on my arm perfectly, which is a lovely little detail. And from the runes, I pulled Jera, or Harvest, of which I can only hope it is a good omen for our travels to come. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed looking back at my month of May together. And I hope to see you in a few weeks' time when I'll be sharing my Norwegian adventure with you. See you then. Bye.